Pieter, at the end of last year, the raging debate in media circles and certainly in the telecommunication industry was all about interconnect fees. Where do we stand? Is this still going to be a headache as we move into the better part of this January and February?
I think internet, and you can look at examples around the world, it's not something that you just solve overnight. We've all agreed that it has to come down. We went through all the different processes last year. There are different stakeholders, so it's not just about the Department of Communications or ICASA, it's about the industry, and we need to make sure that all these stakeholders are aligned. So we are in that process and we will continue to meet, and the commitment was that first quarter this year that there will be movement on the Interconnect, and I'm still hopeful that we will deliver on that commitment.
When I was interviewing Dr. Alan Knott-Craig, I asked him his thoughts on ICASA, and I asked him whether ICASA had teeth. He said, yes, they do have teeth, but they can't chew. Your response to ICASA? I know this is a difficult one for you as CEO of Vodacom.
Look, it's important to have a strong regulator because it's not just about tariffs. It is also about creating the environment for the industry to flourish. Take spectrum as a good example. We can't put South Africa on the telecommunications map if we don't have good policy and regulations around spectrum. So for us, it is important that these things are dealt with quickly. Some of these things have dragged on a lot, so I think we need a few more teeth, but we will get there.
In other words, do we have a strong regulator?
They can do with some more teeth.
Moving swiftly along, let's look at your leadership style. As you've noted, you're very different to what Alan Knott-Craig brought to Vodacom. What would you say is your overriding leadership style?
Okay, so I'm not going to compare us. I'll just tell you a little bit about how I see the world and what I see a leader should do. And this is not to say that Alan's been doing it differently, but I believe, especially now, where there are so many things changing, it's important to bring the team with you. So first of all, the team must know where we are going. So where's the ship sailing to? So the first role that I have is to communicate to the company exactly where we want to be. Because if they're on board, we can at least have a good chance of getting there. Secondly, I believe one should not write off anybody. You should show respect to everybody. Most people have some good in them. There are very few that, but even those you can timber on. But everybody has a contribution to make to the company. So it's my role to bring that out in the company, to make sure that, and because I don't have all the answers, is to stimulate the company to come up with the next clever thing, to come up with the next road that we should take. And it's for me then to lead the company. So it's all about taking the team, take it through these difficult times, and bring us out on the other side as the leading telecommunications company.
How do you keep the company agile?
I enjoy walking around, so I will just all the time meet with different people, hear what's going on in their department, and I will take that input. I will also try and streamline things in the company. And
if there is dead wood, what is your stance on that? And I'm talking about dead wood in terms of human capital.
Like in dead? No. The first thing is, as I said, most people have good in them. If they're dead in a certain area, you just need to prune the tree and let it grow again in some other area. And so my first stance would be, let's develop. So a lot of effort that we're doing and a lot of investment is into the human capital, because we have very good people in the company, and maybe some of them are in the wrong area, and we continue to reorganize the company, restructure the company to make sure that we continue to be agile.
If you were to look back on a mentor, somebody that has influenced your management style, who would that be? Is there somebody that does stand out?
I read a lot about different leaders in the world and what different CEOs have done. So I've worked with Alan for a long time, I've learned a lot from him, but I've also at one stage I've looked at Bill Gates. He did some interesting things. More recently I've looked at the Apple story. It's a very interesting story, Steve Jobs, how that company, because Apple started when I was young and at varsity, and we were all reading about Apple, and then it kind of disappeared, and then the CEO left and he came back, and how he turned things around. So it's not very different to what we also have to do. We have to reinvent ourselves. And it takes courage to do that.
Well, the key is to reinvent yourself. You are the biggest operator in the mobile space in South Africa, and a number of people out there are saying that telecommunication stocks in South Africa, including Vodacom, are ex-growth. given the saturation rates in the country?
If you look at South Africa specifically, I wouldn't say we completely at the end of the road. Yes, we've had some issues around registration of subscribers last year, but I still believe there is growth in South Africa. But as I've also said, things move on. Technology has moved on, and we continue to invest in new areas that will stimulate growth, not just in the telecommunications sector, but also in the economy in South Africa. The continent as a whole, there are still opportunities, and we'll continue to look for opportunities. But for now, we'll focus on what we have, execute extremely well, learn from it, and continue to grow in other areas. Take, for example, mobile commerce. I believe that will make a difference. Just imagine that you can go around, and especially in...
Elaborate on the term, mobile commerce.
So today you can take your card and stick it into a hole in the wall and money comes out. You can pay with a credit card. But one day there will be a world where things are even more integrated. So what about integrating your phone with payment devices? So, and this is exactly what we're doing. Last year we launched M-Pesa, which is a money transfer service in Tanzania, and it was also successfully launched in Kenya, and it's making a difference to people's lives because now they can load money into their wallet on their phone. They can go to participating distributors, dealers, and they can transfer funds, buy something, transfer funds to family that are miles away. So it will make a difference. So voice, data, internet, e-commerce, those are all things that we will continue to focus on.